Well, it's not quite timely to start putting additional changes on an industry which is in very serious trouble. I mean, it's not at all clear to me that either Chrysler or GM will really come out of this, or that there's much point in putting them through all of this. And then to add to that constraints where now they're going to have to change their vehicle fleet, doesn't seem to me the sort of right timing to be pursuing this kind of policy. Yet at the same time, from a political point of view, this may be exactly the time to do it, because this is a time where they're not going to be offering much resistance, and public seems to want to go in this direction. At this point, they haven't made any objections. Well, certainly technology exists to enable cars to get greater fuel economy, and it can't happen overnight, but it certainly can be done in a matter of years. My view as to why it hasn't been done before is simply this has not been a market outcome. That is, I really believe that if consumers wanted cars with fuel economy levels of the type that are being proposed, the automakers would provide them. Indeed, we do see a range of vehicles that have fuel economy standards at the level that are being proposed. And if people wanted to buy hybrids and that's all they wanted, presumably that's what would sell. Or if they wanted other cars that got, similarly high fuel economy, that's what would sell. There's a range of vehicles out there, and people have the choice to get ones that are included within the standards we have today. So my guess would be if there really was strong demand for those types of cars, we'd have more of them selling. The fact that automakers are being forced to do this raises to me very serious red flags as to whether this is a market outcome or something consistent with a market outcome, which I strongly doubt it is. There's evidence to suggest that there are a lot of offsetting effects or maybe unintended consequences of the CAFE standards. First of all, if the fuel economy improves, operating costs go down, it's sort of cheaper to run your car, makes sense that you're going to drive it more often. So this is what they call a rebound effect. So it's a controversial issue, but certainly the logic is quite clear that if people can get greater fuel economy, they'll travel more often. And so that will offset what the corporate average fuel economy standards are trying to do. Another unintended consequence could be safety, in that these are lighter cars. And obviously we know that weight or relative weight matters in accidents. Their cars have gotten better. There's no question about that. And people will see consumer reports and saying, these cars are better, and Detroit's making progress. It's true. Problem is their competitors are getting even better faster. And so they're in a continual catch-up game, and they're just not catching up. This has led to sort of questions, what exactly is the problem? And a lot of people will often blame the government then for the automaker's problem. I don't do that. I think the problem is internal. This has been going on for a number of decades. They continue to lose market share decade after decade. And I think there's something internal to these organizations that we just don't understand, because they just have not been able to bridge the gap fast enough. There still is a differential in the price and quality of the cars, as at least perceived by the consumers. And now they're in such serious trouble that they obviously are in need of government assistance. I don't blame the government for this, but I certainly blame them for keeping the misery from going on.